When you want to meet with someone, you would need both a date and a time for this. This is where the local datetime class comes in. The local datetime is the class in the Java date and time API that represents the date and the time without a time zone. It's part of the Java time package. Let's move over to IntelliJ and create some local datetimes. You might guess this already a little bit by now, but we would need to import it first. And then we could use the now method to create the current local datetime. There I go. And I can also go ahead and use the local datetime of. And this one has quite a few overrides. And the first one that you can see is local date, local time. And this actually means that we can use a local date and a local time object to create a local datetime. Well, I don't have them available here, but I could. Instead, I'm just going to enter the year, the month, the day, etc. So I'm going to start with 2015, the 6th month, the 12th day, and then the 15th hour, 10 minutes, and 32 seconds, like this. There's a lot of override. I don't want to add those. And of course, we can also parse. But this parse looks a bit less obvious than the others, because you need to stick to certain formats, and this is one that you could use. So let's create another date, 2004, the 11th month, and the 30th day. And then I need to specify the time, and I separate them by a T. And I go and I say 20 hours, and I don't know, 10 minutes and 23 seconds. There we go. So let's go ahead and print all these. Of course, again, with a space in between. And let's run it. I actually haven't showed this yet, but this could be more readable with a line break in between instead. And I can create these with \n. So if I run it right now, you'll see them on different lines. And you can see what we have created right here. Now that we have the local datetime object, it will probably not surprise you that there are built-in methods for accessing and modifying the date and the time. Let's go back to IntelliJ and see some of these. Of course, we would need to store the result in a new local datetime object. So there we go. And I'm just going to use this one to show you what's all there. And you can see that if I say get, there's a whole list of options. I can get different parts of my local datetime object. I could get the day of the month, the hour, just day of the week, day of the year, all sorts of things I could get the nanos, get the seconds, etc. I would actually have to store these in mostly ints, sometimes in month objects. So I can't start it in the local datetime, so this is only going to give me one piece back. And again, it's not converting, it's just grabbing that element of the local datetime. And then we also have all these minus methods, and you can see I can do minus days, hours, months, minutes, nanos, etc. So instead, right now I'm going to go minus weeks, and I'll do minus 2 weeks. And I'm using local datetime now, and minus 2 weeks is pretty much just going to subtract 14 days. So let me show you the results of LET4 right here. And you can see in the very bottom that this was Christmas last year, which is exactly 2 weeks ago, so it all matches up. Alright, we've seen the basics of local date, local time, and local datetime. But what if you wanted to meet with a friend in another time zone? The local datetime would not be specific enough. We would need to add a time zone. This is what we're going to have a look at in the next video, zoned date times.